You think it's just food, don't you? Just something you eat and forget. But what if I told you the 3 things sitting in your kitchen right now, right there in your pantry, aren't feeding you at all? They're controlling you, not your appetite, your emotions, your energy, even your ability to feel peace. These 3 foods have been dressed up to look harmless, but they are stealing your strength in silence. And the truth is the enemy doesn't always come with fire. Sometimes he comes with flavor. Do you know that what you consume, what you allow past your lips, what you bring into your body, day after day, can control you in ways you don't even realize? Oh, we think food is simple. We think it's just about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, something that fills the belly and keeps the body moving. But food, listen to me now, food is not just physical, it's spiritual, it's emotional, it's mental, it is deeply tied to your awareness, your focus, your peace, your sensitivity. And if you're not careful, it becomes a tool, not of nourishment, but of control. There are things you're eating every single day that seem harmless. Harmless in the package, harmless on the plate, harmless in the moment. But when you go to sleep at night, you can't rest. When you try to pray, you can't feel. When you reach for peace, all you get is static. You're numbing what you should be healing. You're stuffing what you should be surrendering. You've built a quiet addiction to what's been marketed as convenience. You've built a routine that silences your spirit instead of feeding it. Because food has power, not just the power to energize or satisfy, but the power to dull, the power to desensitize, the power to pacify. And if we're being honest, and I'm going to be very honest tonight, it's not just about what you're eating, but why you're eating it. What are you running from? What are you trying to fill? What part of you feels empty that you're trying to cover with one more bite, one more snack, one more sip of something cold and sweet and full of escape? You see, the enemy is subtle. He's not always going to come at you with chaos and catastrophe. Sometimes he's going to come with cravings, with that little voice that says, you've had a hard day. Go ahead, have that second slice. Or you're tired. Just get the quick fix, the instant thing, the one that makes you feel good fast. And before you know it, your body is moving on autopilot, grabbing things that keep your soul asleep, things that keep your mind distracted, things that keep your heart heavy, even when your mouth says you're fine. But you're not fine. You're foggy, you're worn out, you're overwhelmed. And the reason isn't just your job or your schedule or the people in your life. The reason is deeper. It's in the habits you don't question anymore. In the moments when you think you're feeding your body, but you're actually feeding your fears. In the moments when you crave something sweet, not because you're hungry, but because you're lonely. In the times when you reach for something crunchy or salty, not because you need fuel, but because you need distraction. And I know this might be hard to hear. I know you might be saying, but everyone eats that, everyone drinks that, that's normal. Yes, but not everything normal is healthy. Not everyone drinks that. That's normal. Yes, but not everything that tastes good to the tongue is good for your soul. You have to open your eyes to the manipulation. You have to recognize that the things you're allowing in, these things are shaping your emotions. They are altering your clarity. They are shifting your mood, making you irritable when you should be still, making you anxious when you should be centered, making you hungry again 5 minutes after you just ate because it was never real food to begin with. It was just filler. And the most dangerous thing about all of this is how subtle it is. You won't notice it at first. You won't feel the shift after one bag, one drink, one indulgence. It's slow. It creeps in like fog. Little by little, day by day, your energy fades, your focus slips, your fire dims. And you begin to accept the fog as normal. You begin to live in the haze, thinking this is just life. But it's not. It's not. It's not life. It's not freedom. It's a loop, a trap. And it's keeping you from everything you were created to be. I'm telling you this tonight because I care about your freedom. I care about your clarity. I care about your clarity. I care about your ability to walk into the room with light in your eyes, not fog in your mind. I want you to get that sharpness back, that glow, that sense of alignment where your thoughts are clear, your emotions are steady, and your spirit is alive. But it starts with what you're putting in, what you're choosing when nobody's watching, what you're depending on when life gets hard. Because food, when it's right, can lift you, but when it's wrong, it can enslave you. And some of you, under the surface of your calm, polite, well-dressed life, you're walking around in chains. Silent chains. Invisible chains. Chains wrapped around the things you consume without thought. The things you crave without question. You can't afford to stay asleep. Not now. Not when so much depends on you being present, aware, and powerful in your own life. This is your wake-up call. Let me speak to you gently now, but with the full weight of urgency. Because the second food I'm about to talk about, oh, it's not what you think. It's not the one that makes headlines. It's not the one the world warned you about. It's the quiet one, the subtle one, the one hiding behind labels, wrapped in bright packaging, offered to you daily with a smile and a discount. But make no mistake, it's not a gift. It's a counterfeit, artificial additives. That's what we're talking about now. The things they slip into your food to enhance flavor, extend shelf life, create that beautiful color, that tempting scent, that melt-in-your-mouth experience. But what they never tell you, what you're not supposed to think about, is what it's doing to your system, not just your stomach. I'm talking about your mind, your mood, your memory, your balance, your peace. You see, these things weren't made for your body. They were made for profit. They were made for convenience. They were made to mimic something real, but they're not real. And when you eat enough of what's fake, you start to lose your taste for what's real. Your body forgets how to feel full without the fake. Your tongue forgets how to crave simplicity. Your soul forgets what it means to be still. Now you walk into a store and you're overwhelmed. There's color, sound, promise, pleasure. You pick up a snack and it lights up your taste buds like fireworks. But it leaves your spirit tired, your thoughts foggy, your body inflamed, your energy drained, and you don't even connect the dots. Because it all looks so normal. It's what everyone eats. It's what fills the pantry. It's what's been there since you were a child. But just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's safe. I want you to pause right here and ask yourself a question. When did you stop feeling alive? When did joy become something you had to manufacture? When did mornings become heavy and evenings become empty? When did you begin to rely on stimulants to wake up and distractions to fall asleep? When did you start eating things that fill your hands but leave your heart hollow? There is a spiritual cost to consuming what is not meant for you. And many of us, without even knowing it, are paying that cost every day. You're trading your awareness for artificial calm. You're exchanging your sensitivity for the simulation of satisfaction. You're numbing your divine instincts, drowning them in dye and chemicals and flavor enhancers that were never part of the plan for your life. The truth is, these additives are not just in your food. They've crept into your choices. They've become a reflection of how you handle your pain. Instead of healing, you cover it. Instead of confronting, you coat it. You take what's fake and call it enough. But it's not enough. It never has been. Because the more fake you consume, the more disconnected you become from the real parts of yourself. The gentle parts, the intuitive parts, the parts that whisper when the world gets too loud. And if you stay in that cycle long enough, you won't just forget what real food tastes like, you'll forget what real peace feels like. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to wake you, to rattle the sleep from your soul, to remind you that your body is not a machine to be fed with factory scraps. It is a vessel, precious, sensitive, powerful. And what you put into it matters. What you digest becomes part of you. And if you keep taking in the fake, you'll start living fake too. Fake emotions, fake smiles, fake energy, fake peace. But you weren't made to live that way. You weren't made to settle. There's something real calling out to you, something pure, something honest, something whole. And it's not in a shiny wrapper. It's not found in artificial sweetness or chemical calm. It's found in slowing down, in paying attention, in choosing what serves you instead of what sells to you. Because the enemy doesn't always come with a threat. Sometimes he comes with convenience. He offers what looks good, feels good, but steals from you slowly, quietly, day by day, bite by bite, until you forget who you were before you became addicted to fake comfort. But tonight the comfort ends. The fog lifts. This is your moment of clarity. This is the mirror you've been avoiding. Look into it. See the truths. See the patterns. And decide, truly decide, to stop living on the counterfeit and return to what is real, what is nourishing, what gives life instead of just numbing pain. You deserve real. Don't settle for simulation. Let's go even deeper now. Deeper into the craving that wears a disguise of energy. That false fire you reach for when your soul is tired, but your schedule keeps moving. That quick fix in a cup. That silent companion on your desk, in your car, by your bed. The third food, and maybe the most misunderstood of all, caffeine. It whispers to you like a friend. Just one more cup. You'll feel better. You'll get through the day. And at first, it feels like a miracle. Your eyes open. Your limbs come alive. Your mind sharpens. But what nobody tells you is that this miracle comes with a cost. Because caffeine doesn't give you energy, it borrows it. It takes what tomorrow needs and spends it on today. It's a loan your body keeps signing for until the debt becomes exhaustion, anxiety, irritation, insomnia. And yet we keep drinking because we've confused alertness with awareness. We think because we're moving fast, we must be functioning well. But there's a difference between being awake and being aligned. There's a difference between your body buzzing and your spirit resting. And caffeine, when abused, when relied on, when consumed to escape fatigue instead of healing it, pulls you out of alignment. It gives you motion but no peace, activity but no stillness. You're speeding through life, but your heart feels distant. You're moving from task to task, but you haven't felt centered in days. You're jittery, not joyful, wired, not well. I've seen so many beautiful souls lose their rhythm because of this very thing. They start off sipping to survive a late night, then a stressful day, then a demanding week. But soon, they can't feel awake without it. They can't function without that cup. The dependency becomes ritual. The ritual becomes identity. And before they know it, they're not choosing caffeine anymore. Caffeine is choosing them. And what breaks my heart most is that it's not even about the drink itself. It's about what it replaces. When you reach for caffeine instead of rest, you're saying, I don't have time to restore. I don't have time to breathe. When you drink, instead of slowing down, you're choosing performance over presence. You're choosing productivity over peace. And you begin to chase energy from a source that was never meant to sustain you. Because real energy doesn't come from a stimulant. Real energy comes from alignment, from choosing nourishment instead of numbing, from embracing rest, not resisting it, from understanding that fatigue is not always something to escape. Sometimes it's a message, a sacred whisper saying, pause, listen, recalibrate. But how can you hear that whisper when you're buzzing with artificial noise? How can you feel what you need when your insides are running like a machine that's never allowed to shut off? You drink to wake up, but you don't realize your soul is already screaming, and caffeine is just turning up the volume so you can't hear it. And the most dangerous part, the culture praises it, encourages it. Coffee is the badge of the busy, the symbol of hustle, the proof that you're pushing. But my friend, pushing isn't always progressing. Hustling isn't always healing. There is a silent kind of burnout creeping into people who look awake on the outside, but are crumbling inside. Shaking hands, racing thoughts, sleepless nights. You call it ambition, but your body calls it survival. You call it discipline, but your soul calls it depletion. So I want to ask you gently, lovingly, what are you really running on? What are you really depending on to get through the day? If the answer is in a can, in a cup, in a shot of something strong that never lasts, then it's time to realign. Time to stop settling for borrowed strength. Time to stop patching fatigue with something that never truly restores. You don't need more caffeine. You need more clarity. You don't need more stimulation. You need stillness. You need rest that goes deeper than sleep. Restoration that goes deeper than a nap. Reconnection that doesn't come in a bottle, but in the quiet decision to start honoring your body instead of overriding it. Because the truth is, you were never meant to live off of false energy. You were created to move from a place of real power. But you can't access that power if you're constantly chasing survival disguised as motivation. This isn't just about a drink. This is about how you see yourself. This is about choosing to treat your fatigue with kindness instead of caffeine. So let the cup go for a moment. Let the need for instant energy fall away. Sit in the pause. Embrace the quiet. Let yourself feel tired, not because you're weak, but because you're human. And in that humanness, there is space for healing. You don't need to be wired to be worthy. You've heard it said that discipline is the key to success, but let me take you further. Let me tell you something the world won't say out loud, but your spirit already knows. What you eat, what you drink, what you reach for when no one's looking, that is your mirror. Your daily diet is not just a reflection of your taste, it's a reflection of your trust. Your habits with food, with cravings, with comfort, they're telling a deeper story about how you walk through this life, about how you handle your pressure, about where you place your peace. Because listen closely now, your diet mirrors your discipline, and your discipline reflects your devotion. It's not about perfection, it's about intention. It's about what you choose. When the pressure builds and the temptation rises, do you go back to the old patterns that kept you numb? Do you reach for the sugar, the salt, the buzz, the quick fix? Or do you pause long enough to ask, is this feeding my body or is it filling my void? You see, this isn't about following rules. This is about reclaiming power. Because there's something holy about saying no to what once ruled you. There's something sacred about choosing what aligns with your higher self, your healed self, your free self. And when you do, when you start making those quiet daily decisions, you're not just changing your diet. You're changing your direction. That discipline isn't loud. It doesn't brag. It doesn't beg for applause. It shows up in your quiet choices. When you open the fridge at midnight and walk away instead. When you leave that bag of chips sealed because you're not bored, you're just uncomfortable. When you switch out what numbs you for what strengthens you, not because it's easy, but because it's time. And here's what you need to know. Discipline isn't punishment. It's protection. It's not there to steal your joy. It's there to guard your peace. Because if you're not intentional about what enters your body will carry things it was never meant to hold. And if you've ever felt heavy, not in weight, but in energy, in mood, in thought, then you know exactly what I mean. So ask yourself tonight, what are you really feeding? The hunger or the habit? The soul or the cycle? Because every time you make a choice from a place of awareness, you build strength. Every time you honor your body with what it truly needs, you remind yourself, I'm not a slave to my cravings. I'm not a prisoner to patterns. I'm not a prisoner to patterns. I'm not a prisoner to patterns. I'm not ruled by what I used to depend on. You're building a lifestyle that can hold your purpose, a temple that can carry your calling, and that takes more than desire. It takes discipline. And discipline grows in the small, unseen moments. In the ordinary decisions that don't feel glamorous, but are quietly holy. But don't confuse discipline with deprivation. This isn't about punishing yourself. This is about coming back into alignment with what gives you life. This is about recognizing that your devotion to healing, to wholeness, to clarity, demands structure, demands awareness, demands care, not restriction, but reverence. Reverence for the body that carries your soul. Reverence for the future you're walking into. Reverence for the peace you refuse to trade anymore, because you're not just breaking food habits, you're breaking generational patterns. You're saying no more living on autopilot. You're choosing to treat yourself like someone you deeply value. And that's where true change begins, not in the dramatic declarations, but in the quiet commitment to live with intention. So the next time you think discipline is hard, remember this: so is regret, so is brain fog, so is bloating, so is bloating, so is waking up every day in a body that's tired of being ignored. Choose your hard, and choose the one that leads to life. The truth is, you don't have to be extreme. You just have to be consistent. A small shift in your choices creates a massive shift in your energy. And when you start showing up for yourself with that kind of care, the world can't help but notice. Your glow changes, your posture shifts, Your presence becomes grounded, unshakable, rooted. And all of that starts not in the spotlight, but in the kitchen. Not in the applause, but in the silence of your own home, where you make choices that no one sees, but God feels. Where you realign what you crave with who you are becoming. That's where the transformation lives.